We previously looked at 10 returning features in WWE 2K25, but since then, we found even more things making a comeback, enough to put together another video covering even more features in WWE 2K25. So let's not waste any time and jump right into the first one. Trash can lid weapon. During our time playing WWE 2K25, we noticed that an old weapon is back. The trash can lid. This weapon was in the games as far back as SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, but has been missing since at least Here Comes the Pain. It's a small returning feature, but anytime something that's been gone for over 20 years comes back, it's worth talking about. It's always nice to see little features like this making a return after so long has passed. Entrances in showcase mode. Usually when a feature disappears from the WWE 2K series, we can blame WWE 2K15 or WWE 2K20, since those games are known for removing things that fans loved. But this time, the removal actually happened in WWE 2K19. When showcase mode went on a short break in 2K18 and then returned in WWE 2K19, something was noticeably missing. Entrances in showcase matches. It's not the biggest feature, but it does add to the overall feel of the mode, making it more immersive. And that is especially true in WWE 2K25, where the commentary team reacts to the entrances in real time, giving backstory on the match and event. It makes Showcase feel like a real broadcast, and having this feature back just adds to the authenticity. Commentary during Showcase mode matches. Continuing with the returning Showcase mode features for the first time since WWE 2K20, commentary is back during Showcase matches, replacing the awful background music that played instead. That stuff was horrible. Just like with entrances, having commentary back makes the mode feel much more like you're actually replaying a historic match. It keeps you more engaged in the action rather than just listening to a bunch of random music that completely takes you out of the moment. Nobody wanted to listen to that.
And the wise man, Paul Heyman, will be at ringside for a championship match tonight, just not this one.
And that's just sickening to me, Cole. Reigns had just cause for firing the wise man, and now Paul's right back with his old client. Heyman has zero loyalty to the bloodline.
Well, okay, Corey, did you forget the fact that Roman attacked Heyman? Anyway, Reigns just needs to forget all of that tonight. Rollins is already playing next-level mind games in this match. Reigns cannot let Paul Heyman's actions affect him.
Secret areas and backstage brawls. One of the things we always loved in older WWE games was finding secret areas in the backstage environment. It's been a long time since we've seen anything like this. Probably not since the SmackDown vs. Raw days, but in WWE 2K25, they're finally back. One example is in the WWE Archives backstage brawl area. If you throw an opponent into the vents, it breaks open, revealing a hidden area to explore. Inside, you'll find references to classic WWE moments, including Buried Alive matches and Undertaker Easter eggs. We won't spoil it all for you though. You need to find them for yourself. Outside areas. Back in the SmackDown era of WWE games, it was common to be able to go outside of the arena. In some games, like SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, you could even fight on a moving train. But as the series progressed into the SmackDown vs. Raw era and beyond, backstage areas became more restricted, usually limited to just indoor locations like the locker room, parking lot, and interview area. Now, WWE 2K25 is bringing back an outside area in the form of the NXT parking lot, located outside of the Performance Center. We all know that that parking lot is incredibly dangerous for anyone who enters it, especially wrestlers. This marks the first time in a long time that players will be able to brawl in an outdoor setting again.
Don't do this! No, 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 no! Lands the splash!
More guest referee options. We loved seeing guest referee matches make a comeback in WWE 2K24, but the one big issue was how limited it was. You could only have a singles match with a special guest referee. But that all changes in WWE 2K25. Now, you can have a triple threat, a fatal four-way, and even Hell in a Cell matches with a special guest referee. This is actually a returning feature, as older games like WWE 13 allowed guest referees in different match types, so it's great to finally have that variety back again. Climb the SmackDown fist. Remember in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth when you could climb the SmackDown stage, hang around on the SmackDown fist, and even dive off it? Well, that's kind of back in WWE 2K25. You won't be able to climb up the SmackDown arena to reach the fist like before, but the SmackDown fist now appears in the WWE Archives Brawl area, and you can climb on top of it from there. You can throw opponents off or take the dive yourself. We never expected to jump off the SmackDown fist again, but WWE 2K found a clever way to bring this back, and we are here for it. Danger. Warning when taking too much damage. This is a small but cool feature making a return, and it was last seen in the Day of Reckoning series. If you take too much damage in WWE 2K25, your HUD will display a danger warning, signaling that you're in serious risk of being KO'd, especially in matches like brawls. Again, it's a small feature, but it's always nice to see Day of Reckoning get some love, even in small ways. Number 9. Women bleeding. Blood in WWE games has always been a weird one. When it was first introduced in WWF Attitude back in 1999, it seemed like it would always be part of the series going forward, but that wasn't the case. There was actually a ban on blood in WWE games after Attitude, with games like Raw and Xbox having its blood completely removed before release. Eventually, blood made a comeback in Here Comes the Pain, but with a restriction. Women couldn't bleed. Unlike WWF Attitude, where everyone could, this rule stayed in place for every single WWE game that followed. That is, until now. After 26 years, WWE 2K25 finally allows women superstars to bleed, breaking that long-standing ban and making it the first game in decades where both men and women can shed blood in matches. Number 10. Tombstone weapon. WWE 2K20 introduced a bunch of strange weapons thanks to the bizarre WWE 2K Originals mode, but when WWE 2K22 came around, all of them were gone. It seemed like none of those weapons would ever return, but that is not the case. The Tombstone weapon from WWE 2K20 is now back in WWE 2K25, and it can be found in the hidden area of the WWE Archives Brawl location that we mentioned earlier. It still looks the same way as it did in 2K20. After a few hits, it completely shatters into pieces. A cool little callback to one of the more bizarre weapon choices in WWE 2K history. Number 11. Submission system. Remember the old submission wheel system that debuted in WWE 2K16? Well, that's making a comeback in WWE 2K25. If you're not familiar with this system, it's a slider-based submission mechanic where you control a marker that moves around a circular meter. You'll need to use the left and right triggers to guide your marker and try to overlap your opponents. If you're applying the submission, the goal is to keep their marker trapped long enough to make them tap out. If you're the one caught in the hold, you'll have to maneuver away to escape before it's too late. It's kind of like a one-sided thumb war in a video game. For those who weren't fans of this system, don't worry. The classic button-mashing submission system is still in the game as well. Number 12. Finishers from the ladder. One of the most frustrating removals in recent WWE 2K games was the ability to hit finishers and signature moves from the top of the ladder. Starting with WWE 2K22, this feature just disappeared out of nowhere, and it always felt disappointing when you set up the perfect moment for a huge finisher off the ladder, only to realize you were limited to a generic ladder dive instead. Thankfully, in WWE 2K25, this will no longer be an issue. Finishes and signatures can now be performed from the top of the ladder again, bringing back the kind of moments that make ladder matches so exciting. Now please, never remove this again. Number 13. Pulling objects while hanging in ladder matches. And lastly, this is something we haven't seen in a long time. The ability to keep pulling the object while hanging from it was first introduced in Raw 2 on Xbox, where you could hold onto the prize in a ladder match and try to pull it down while hanging. In some cases, multiple superstars could be hanging at the same time, fighting for control. Some SmackDown vs. Raw games also had a version of this, where you'd still be pulling the title down while another superstar tried to stop you, though it wasn't quite as chaotic as the Raw 2 version. Now, WWE 2K25 is bringing this feature back. Instead of the minigame instantly ending when you grab the object, you'll still be able to pull it down while hanging. making for much more dramatic moments in ladder matches. Hopefully, we'll see the return of multiple people hanging on the object at once like in Raw 2. Overall, it's a great addition to WWE 2K25 that should make ladder matches way more exciting. And that was another 13 more features that are returning in WWE 2K25. Which one of these is the most exciting for you? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.